and a warm welcome to the AI with Arun Show. Here is a fact that sounds like science fiction, but it is completely real. Right now, inside hospital data systems, there are millions of patient records for people who were never born. They never had a heartbeat, never got a diagnosis, never sat in a waiting room, and yet doctors and researchers are using these fake patients right now to test new treatments and catch diseases earlier in real ones. That is the strange, powerful world of synthetic data. In the next few minutes, we're going to answer four big questions. What actually is synthetic data? How is it being used across healthcare, finance, self driving cars, and more? What are the real dangers hiding inside it? Dangers that are already showing up in products you use today. And finally, how are researchers fighting back to keep AI healthy? Stay with me because by the end, you will understand one of the most important and least talked about forces shaping every AI tool you use. Let's start with the basics. So, what is synthetic data in plain English? It's information that was never actually observed in the real world. No real patient, no real driver, no real customer. Instead, a computer studies the patterns hiding inside real data. Things like how age relates to income or how a car's sensors behave in fog. And then it generates brand new artificial examples that follow those same patterns. Think of it like a stunt double in a movie. The stunt double looks like a star, moves like the star, and can actually do the dangerous jump off a building. But it's not actually the star. Synthetic data works the same way. It stands in for real data, so a company does not have to expose a real patient's medical file or a real customer's bank details. And because it is generated by a computer, you can make as much of it as you want instantly, including rare situations that almost never show up in a real world. That combination, privacy plus unlimited supply, is exactly why it has become such a big deal in AI. Here is why synthetic data matters suddenly and so much. For years, AI companies made their models smarter, mostly by feeding them more and more of the internet. But that well is running dry. Researchers estimate that at current rates, the biggest AI labs will have scraped essentially all the useful public text on the internet by around 2028. And here is the twist that makes it worse. A growing slice of the internet itself is now being written by AI, not humans. Some estimates put it at 5 to 10% of web text already and climbing every month. So companies have started manufacturing their own training data instead of just collecting it. That is not a niche experiment anymore. It's a real market valued at about $2.1 billion 2025 and growing roughly 35% every year. In other words, synthetic data is not a side project. It's quickly becoming a default ingredient in how AI gets built. So let's look at how it's actually made. So how do you actually manufacture data out of thin air? There are three main approaches. The first is generative models like GANs and VAEs. Picture two AI systems locked in a game. One is a forger trying to paint fake masterpieces, and the other is a detective trying to catch the fakes. They train against each other millions of times, and the forger gets so good that even the detective can't always tell the difference. The second approach is large language models, the same AI behind chatbots who can write synthetic conversations, documents, or code that read just like something a human wrote. And the third approach is simulation engines. Companies like Nvidia and Waymo build entire physics based virtual worlds where they can render a rainy highway at midnight or a child suddenly running into the street, scenarios that would be far too dangerous or expensive to film for real. Together, these three techniques are how synthetic data gets made. Now let's look at where all of this is actually being put to use. Let's get concrete, starting with healthcare. Patient records are some of the most sensitive information that exists, and privacy laws rightly make it hard to share them. So hospitals now generate entirely synthetic patient populations, datasets that look and behave statistically like the real patients without a single person's file inside. This shows up in a few powerful ways. In clinical trials, researchers can build a synthetic comparison group before they are even recruited real patients, which speeds up early drug testing. For rare diseases, where you might only have a handful of real cases worldwide, synthetic data lets researchers simulate hundreds of patients to spot patterns. It also allows hospitals to safely share data with outside researchers without ever exposing a real identity. And on a larger scale, public health teams can model how a disease might spread through a synthetic city population, testing which interventions work best before ever touching a real outbreak. This is one of the cleanest wins for synthetic data, real medical progress with zero real patients put at risk. Now let's talk money. Financial companies face a strange problem. Real fraud is incredibly rare, making up less than 0.1% of all transactions. If you train a fraud detection model purely on real data, it becomes an expert at recognizing normal purchases simply because that's almost all it ever sees. It barely gets a chance to learn what fraud actually looks like. Synthetic data solves this by manufacturing thousands of realistic fraud patterns on demand, including brand new attack methods that criminals have not even invented yet. So the model can be trained to catch them ahead of time. This is not experimental either. JP Morgan, Capital One, and MasterCard have all published research on exactly this approach. It's a great example of synthetic data solving a problem that real world data simply cannot, giving a model enough examples of something you desperately hope stays rare. Self driving cars. By volume, the single biggest user of synthetic data anywhere. And the reason is obvious once you think about it. You cannot ethically wait around for enough real children to run into the street in front of a car to teach it how to stop in time. Instead, companies build that exact scenario inside a simulation and run it thousands of times in every weather condition at every time of day until the car's software has actually seen it before. Waymo is the poster child here. They have logged over 20 billion miles of simulated driving compared to roughly 200 million real world autonomous miles. That's about 100 simulated miles for every real mile. And in February 2026, Waymo went a step further, unveiling what they call a world model, built using DeepMind's Genie 3 technology, which can generate entire photorealistic driving scene on the fly for the rarest, weirdest situations a car might one day face. This is synthetic data at its most literally life saving. And it does not stop here. Synthetic data quietly powers a huge chunk of everyday business. In robotics, robots and drones practice in simulated warehouses and factories, running through millions of scenarios that would be far too slow and expensive to test physically. In manufacturing, synthetic images of product defects train quality control cameras to spot flaws that might only show up once in 10,000 real items. In retail, companies use synthetic customer data to test personalizations and marketing campaigns without ever touching a real shopper's personal details. And in supply chains, businesses simulate demand shocks like a sudden shortage or a shipping delay to stress test the logistics before a real crisis ever hits. So, across healthcare, finance, transportation, robotics, manufacturing, and retail, the same basic idea keeps repeating. When real data is too rare, too risky, or too private, a realistic substitute itself. Now, let's step back and total up why this has become so valuable. Because there are real, substantial benefits. First, privacy protection. Since no real person's data lives inside a synthetic data set, companies can often sidestep strict privacy laws like GDPR or HIPAA while still getting useful data to work with. Second, cost and speed. Generating millions of synthetic examples can take hours compared to months or years of real world data collection. Third, it fills the gap that real data leaves behind, giving you enough examples of rare events like fraud, like rare diseases, or dangerous car crashes to actually train a model on. And fourth, when it is built carefully, synthetic data can even make models fairer by deliberately including groups of people or situations that are underrepresented in real world datasets. Put together, this is a genuinely powerful toolkit, and this is important. Synthetic data is not a free lunch. It comes with a serious, well documented flaw. And let's talk about that. Now, this is the twist in our story, something researchers call model collapse. Here's the simplest way to imagine it. Imagine photocopying a photocopy over and over again. Each new copy gets a little blurrier and loses a little more detail than the one before it. Now imagine an AI model trained on data that was generated by an earlier AI model, which itself was trained on data from an even earlier model. The same blurring, except instead of losing image sharpness, the model loses knowledge of rare things, unusual voices, and edge cases. A landmark study published in the journal Nature in 2024 proved this in the lab. After just 5 to 10 generations of AI training on AI made data, models lost the trail of the data entirely, where events disappeared and the outputs converged into a narrow, repetitive, generic average. The core trigger researchers identified is replacement, swapping out real data for synthetic data each round rather than adding synthetic data on top of it. And the first things to quietly vanish are exactly the things that you would want to keep, for example, rare events and minority voices. Here is the part that should really grab your attention. This is not some distant hypothetical risk anymore. In February 2026, Communications of the ACM, one of the most respected publications in all of computer science, confirmed that model collapse is already happening inside production systems today, right now. What does it actually look like? Background removal software is failing specifically on certain hair textures, an early sign of narrowing diversity. Image generators are producing pictures that look increasingly similar to each other, losing their creative range. And separately, but connected to the same root problem, data poisoning has escalated from a lab demo into real attacks. Hidden malicious instructions buried inside code components, code comments, have poisoned fine-tuned models, spreading through synthetic data pipelines from one model generation to the next. In one striking 2026 example, a design flaw in a widely used AI tool connection standard left up to 200,000 servers exposed to attack, to nothing more than a poisoned description fed to an AI system. So this is not abstract anymore. It's a live ongoing challenge. The good news? Researchers already have real solutions. So how do you get the benefits of synthetic data without the collapse? Researchers have converged on one golden: add synthetic data on top of real data. Never replace real data with it. Studies have shown that when synthetic data accumulates alongside an untouched real data anchor, models stay stable, even at massive scale. Around that global golden rule, four practical defenses have emerged. First, data provenance and watermarking. Tagging AI generated content the moment it's created. So anyone building a future training set can see exactly how much synthetic material they are mixing in. Second, quality aware filtering, actively screening out the weakest, least realistic synthetic examples instead of dumping in everything a generator produces. Third, preserving human anchor data, keeping verified, curated, purely human made datasets safe from before the AI content explosion as a stable reference point that never gets overwritten. And fourth, regulation is stepping in too. The EU AI Act requires high risk systems like healthcare and finance tools to document exactly how their synthetic data was generated and validated. Regulators are being clear about one thing: synthetic data is not a shortcut around doing this properly. So, where do things actually stand right now in the middle of 2026? The industry is booming. Nvidia bought a leading synthetic data company called Gradle AI for $320 million and folded it into their Omniverse platform, which is now running across 252 enterprise deployments in manufacturing, automotive, and robotics alone. North America currently holds the largest share of this market, while Asia Pacific is growing the fastest, fueled by huge investments from China, India, and South Korea. Zoom out further, and the growth curve is dramatic, from about $2.1 billion in 2025 towards a projected $8.8 billion within the decade. But I want to leave you with one important dose of balance here. Because not everyone agrees that model collapse is a five-alarm fire. Stanford researchers tested 8 different definitions of model collapse and found that many of the worst case catastrophic scenarios are actually avoidable under realistic real world conditions where data accumulates rather than gets wiped out. So, the honest picture is this is a real risk that demands real engineering discipline, not an inevitable doom loop. So, let's circle back to where we started. Remember those 10 million synthetic patients I mentioned at the very beginning? The ones who were never born but who help real medicine every day? Here is the piece I left out. Every responsible hospital using them also keeps a locked, untouched vault of real patient records, completely separate. That vault is the anchor. It's the ground truth that keeps the synthetic copies honest. And that, in a single sentence, is everything we have covered. Synthetic data is not a replacement for reality. It's a powerful, useful copy of it used well, blended carefully with real data, tracked, watermarked, and never allowed to fully replace the original. Protects patient privacy, catches fraud before it happens, and trains cars to react to that one in a million moment that saves a life. Used carelessly, feeding AI back into itself generation after generation with no anchor to reality, it slowly blurs, narrows, and forgets. The same way a photocopy of a photocopy dies. The technology is not the danger. Forgetting where it came from is. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped you understand AI a little better, please join us and support our work. Click on join right below this video and please hit like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.